Bizarre Brain Comics. Hello, my comic book friends, and welcome to Bizarre Brain Comics. I am Gary, your host. This is where I like to take a look at some older comics, talk a little bit about the characters and creators, and examine the stories and the art. And this time I'm going to take another look at some more pulp magazines that I've got. From that kind of golden age of magazine publishing, when titles were everywhere with all kinds of adventure stories and just sheer fun. And this is a miscellaneous group of magazines. I want to start off with Avon Fantasy Reader number 14 from 1950. And this, you can see this is considerably smaller than the others. This is a smaller magazine, and is just a little bit larger than your standard paperback book size, pocketbook type. And this is more in line with the few remaining pulp type magazines that we have today, such as astounding science fiction and analog science fiction, as well as some of the mystery detective magazines that we still have, like Perry Mason and the like. And it was the same kind. This is the only one that I've got that has a Robert E. Howard story in it, because Temptress of the Tower of Torture and Sin by Robert E. Howard. Apparently this story was originally printed in Oriental Tales, a companion magazine to Weird Tales. So this is as close as I ever got to Weird Tales. And of course this cover painting is inspired by that. Now, one of the differences in this, probably because it's a little smaller and they needed more space, is that there are no illustrations inside, no interior illustrations at all, except maybe in ads and the like. So I don't even need to delve into that one. Also has a Ray Bradbury story in here, and this story is one that is later incorporated into his classic novel, The Martian Chronicles. Then we go to The Sky Fighters. This is a summer issue. This is volume 36, number 2 from 1948. And it features action novelette Jonas of the Jets. Yeah, this is all aviation, primarily military aviation. And it was contemporary because, of course, jets were cool in the thing, and they were brand new right then, because they were jet aircraft were developed by both the Americans and the Germans but only the Germans got them in production during World War II, and the Japanese were working on jet aircraft as well, and I'm sure the British were too. Yeah, this is from 1948. Yeah, that's what I said. And of course, these pulps always had some great, and sometimes not so great, interior illustrations. I'll take a look at this one here for Jonas of the Jets. It's there's not much to that one, but it's well done. I don't know how accurate the aircraft were. This is much more, and this is really reminiscent of some of the illustrations from some of the children's books at the time, or young adult books from that I've seen from the 50s, and probably a lot of the same illustrators. Firewater over the dam, and I read most of the stories in here, and it's a good fun book. It's the only one that I've got that's of this particular genre, and I was going to say something else, and I forgot what it was. Huh. Oh well. Oh yeah. And of course, as many of them do, also includes articles about, in this case, about aircraft. It has a I can't find it now, 2-page spread describing how a jet engine works, and cutaway illustrations of aircraft and the like, and one about just the history of aviation. And here we have The Phantom Detective from 1950. This is the only old one that I've got of any of the masked adventurer mystery men type magazines. The Phantom Detective, and nice cover painting, because they all had nice cover paintings. That Skyfighters, it had a very dramatic and dynamic. This is a very threatening illustration. Homicide Town, a full-length mystery novel by Robert Wallace. And Phantom Detective was along the lines of the Spider and the Shadow. Except I guess he had a tendency to wear evening dress like they all mostly did, with a top hat, and it looks kind of silly. But then the Thin Veneer, a baffling novelette. And of course, it didn't just feature that main character. It had several shorter stories in the same vein of detective mystery type stories. And then we're back to some westerns because I had covered westerns before, and this is Range Riders Western, Volume 17, Number 1, from 1947. And these had some really like the cover illustrations on these. Had some really nice ones, and this is a good one. The Loot of Latigo Basin, a complete Steve Reese novel by Haskell Giles. That's a heck of a name. And they always had some good interior illustrations as well. Like, see if you can see that illustration at the front of this one, the Loot of Latigo Basin, and then or like here, because it had different sizes and shapes of illustrations. Most of the illustrations are just headshots of the characters. Here. And these are just all good shoot 'em up western fun. And here's another one. This is The Masked Rider Western. So this looks obviously a Lone Ranger knockoff. This is a feature, and I've never seen any others. And I don't know if these were ever reprinted, because I'm unfamiliar with Masked Rider from paperbacks. Maybe it has been. Is featuring The Golden Skull, a Wayne Morgan novel by Gunnison Steele. Now, as if that doesn't sound like a pseudonym to me. And I really like this cover painting, except for that hand. That's a very awkward way of shooting a gun, and liable to injure his wrist that way. And of course, then we have some interesting interior illustrations. Get that. Of course, it doesn't want to come off. There we go. The Golden Skull. Thrilling stuff. And of course, here you see this masked guy with a cape on horseback. And just looking through it, I haven't read this. It also looks like he's got either an Indian companion similar to Tonto. And then we hear Rust Ain't for Six Guns. And another nice illustration. A lot of scratchiness sometimes, which makes it kind of more organic and works with this field. Crow quill pen and ink, and oftentimes using a textured paper with a grease pencil, or just like an ebony pencil. It gives you breaks up the blacks and gives you a nice texture, so that you can get a different gray tones. And then we conclude this one with Giant Wrsyrrn. This is Volume 8, Number 3 from 1951, featuring Hellgate Canyon, a lusty novel of the brawling West by Fred Delano, and Shoestring Showdown by James Lucy. And they're very bold, and very macho. Here's a nice 2-page spread for the beginning of this story. That's a nice one. It's kind of a nice one. Not as good as some, a lot better than others. Here's another one I like. Yeah, get that out of there. Looks like a barroom brawl. And then clear in the back here from Shoestring Showdown. And you can see the quality of the art on this one isn't nearly as good as on the others. Has some decent line drawing though. And so that's what we've got for our this time. For some pulps, I'll have another one. I think I've got enough pulps for one more episode sometime in the future. And I always enjoy looking through the pulp magazines, and they are a lot of fun and some nice stuff. So thank you for joining me. Please like, share, subscribe, and do leave a comment. Which of these magazines do you like best? What cover illustrations or interior illustrations? And the very bold, very macho illustrations, and they are related to comics. They are the forerunners to the comics. Of course, these were during the golden age of comics, and the waning age of pulp magazines. So once again, thank you for joining me. Please like, share, subscribe, and do leave a comment. And remember, comics are art.